scale. This has all the different numbers the scan provides us with. So we'll go through that. Do you want to go ahead and start the recording?
I just did.
Great. Okay, so welcome to Quick Cut. Okay, you guys don't really know each other, right? Because a lot of you are brand new into this gym. I'm the owner. My name is Monique. Josh owns Pace Health, which is his own metabolic health clinic. I'm repping his logo today. You guys all know Josh? You do now. This is Josh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Monique. So I was thinking about one thing that's really cool about Pace is we're a community. We get to know each other. So we do these really silly questions, get to know us questions. And since we just whipped out all the Halloween stuff, our get to know us question today was, what's the best costume you ever had? So we're gonna stick with that one for us today. So my favorite costume, I have a twin sister, and we dressed up as the dark princess and the light princess, and I was the white princess, which is ironic. And so my whole costume, head to toe, was white, and we went to Goodwill to create it. And so because we created it ourselves, it was really awesome.
I'm Josh. I'm going to change my answer because it's
no. Tell them.
Okay.
Tell them your silly answer.
So it was a gnome. Is what we're going with, right? So basically, I had a pillowcase over my head and all the way down to here, and it had a big face drawn on it. And then you tucked a dress shirt here, so it looked like my body started down here, and then the legs were down there. And so
he didn't know what he was. But I thought gnome.
But it was fun because it was like you'd move your body and it looked like you were dancing.
Right? All right, Tara, how about you? Is it Tara or Tara? Tara.
Okay, got it.
I'm not much of a Halloween costume person, but I'm going to cheat and say that I made my son a costume that I so remember, and that was to be the Yellow Pages. It was really literal kid. He's a mechanical engineer, human, but it was so literal that he was willing,
Nice.
to be the Yellow Pages.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah. Nice.
That's great.
I'm Paul. As far as Halloween costume, about 8 years ago, I went to a party and I wanted to be a sage, but I ended up looking like some kind of prophet coming down the hill. I had a wig, a beard, and a robe, and they thought I was like some Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
Probably salsa dancing with that.
Oh yeah, that had to look good. Wait, did you guys catch that? Her name is Special. Yeah, it's the best. It's the most special name I've ever heard. So good. That's awesome. A melted ghost. That's good.
I'm going to take a page out of your book because I don't usually dress up too much, and when I do, it's usually a witch because I love that costume for me. But my daughter, when she was younger, she always had to be something more ghoulish, so it had to be something dead. So one year it was like a dead cheerleader, but one of my favorite costumes that we did for her was a dead chef, and she had the hat and she had the
butcher knife,
in the side, and she had like body parts and splattered blood over the chef,
That's awesome. So, dead chef.
Yeah, dead. Anything dead. Fun.
Hello, I'm Tia, and a couple years ago, my significant boyfriend and I, we went to a party as a 70s couple, and we both had a wig, so he's bald.
Yeah, that's fun.
We had these little big piece necklaces, just the whole thing.
That's fun.
That's cool.
What do you call the frill?
Tassel jackets, or that's cool. That's fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Beverly, favorite costume?
My favorite one to date, I'm trying to, I have 4 kids and all, so it was 4 years ago when Kate was a baby, we were The Incredibles. For
Nice.
the 2nd year she was born. That was fun.
That's epic.
I remember.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
She wore the mask, which was like, she was just so chill.
Yeah. That's awesome. Cool. All right, guys. Well, we're going to get into it. So the first thing we're going to go over is where we're at, where we're starting from. So I want you guys to open those apps. You're going to go to your detail up at the top there. And we're just going to go one piece at a time. Josh is going to take you through the different numbers that we care about. There's some numbers we don't care about in there, and explain what they mean.
Cool. So as you're scrolling through there, we'll go through each one here. Okay. Go ahead and scroll down to where it says skeletal muscle mass.
It's pretty high.
It should be higher on that list.
It goes weight, and then right underneath
Okay.
it says skeletal muscle mass.
Cool. So skeletal muscle mass, on there you have a number, right? That is the amount of skeletal muscle mass, as in muscles, right? That you have on your body at this point. It shows on there below average, average, and then above average, right? For everyone, you can see that on there. It's like a little bar graph. Our goal is to be average or above average. So as we're looking at that, you can kind of check in where you're at, and then that's our starting spot. Our goal is to get that either right in that average category or moving up throughout this whole quick cut and everything moving forward. Okay? Everyone sees that? Gets where they're at? Okay. If you scroll down to the next one,
Right underneath.
right underneath, we got our body fat mass. It's the same way it's spelled out on there, right? We've got our below average, average, and then above average. And so that is literally our body fat mass. So the fat we're storing on our body and the pounds that actually has in there. And so once again, our goal, find our starting spot. For most of us, it's going to be going down, right? Our goal is to get it to move down. You know, if we're way above average, we want to just start chunking away at that and then getting it into the average category. And you can see kind of the outlines of that. Okay. If we scroll past that, we get into our percent body fat, right? And so on the percent body fat, once again, it's still got those ranges in there. It'll be different for men versus women. So in the men, it says 10 to 20 is healthy range. For women, it says 18 to 28%. And so our goal is to keep that, once again, moving in the right direction. One thing to understand with percent body fat, there's a couple ways that's going to fluctuate, right? Or change as we're seeing results. It is a percent of your total body mass, right? So if we have 100 pounds of body weight and you have 10 pounds of fat, we get 10%, right? If we lose fat, it's going to come down, right? We'll get that body fat percent to come down. If we lose muscle and overall weight, it will also come down, right?
No, go up.
Sorry, up.
If you lose
Yes.
muscle, your body fat percentage goes up.
Right, because we have more fat and less muscle at that point, right? Sorry. And then our goal ultimately, if we raise muscle and lose fat, then we're going to have even more results with that percent body fat coming down. Okay. And then we scroll down to visceral fat level. And on there, do you guys know what visceral fat is? Probably not all of us, right? So that's, you may have heard like abdominal fat or things along those terms. This is a good depiction of it. So visceral fat is it's the more dangerous fat. It's the stuff that sits in our abdominal cavity, sits around the organs, and it puts pressure on all the organs. So it's like for health, we need to get rid of that. If you look at here, we can't always see from the outside what our visceral fat's looking like. That's why this machine gives us a good insight on there. These people, so we have, traditionally skinny person, but if we look in their abdominal cavity, all this yellow stuff is visceral fat, right? So they still have a bunch of visceral fat trapped in there. We look at this person. Once again, we see all that visceral fat. And then there's also this subcutaneous fat, which is, it's still fat. We still want to work on it, but it's not as dangerous as this stuff in here. Okay, so visceral fat is one of those things that we want to track on here and be seeing coming down. Okay. You have a number as we move forward. Our goal for that is to be under 10 on that scale. Okay, for the visceral fat, yeah. So this is a little depiction for you, right? So if we're looking at our visceral fat, basically those single numbers or those double numbers, in order to know how many cubic centimeters, it's better than cubic centimeters, it's within our stomach, right? Within our abdomen. We basically multiply those numbers by 10. So if we have a 10 on that scale, that means we have 100 cubic centimeters of visceral fat. So just to give you a little depiction here, one of these is 1.5 cubic centimeters, okay? Not that big, right, when we look at it. But so if we multiply that by 10, that's going to be that 10 cubic centimeters. That's the start of that healthy range. If we look at this in total, so most people, if we had a 38 on that scale that you have there, this would be 385 cubic centimeters. That's how much fat, visceral fat, would be sitting inside your stomach, in your abdomen, around the organs. It doesn't really look like that much, right? Which kind of tells us this is how much is in there, but it's actually really potent and really dangerous. Like we said, anything over 10 is unhealthy. And so just to give you guys a depiction of what that actually looks like in the body, if we imagine this much volume spread out around the organs and in that abdominal cavity, that's all we're looking at here, right? So our goal is to shrink it down, right, until we're under 10 of these little guys. Make sense? Give you a little better idea of what we're looking at with that. It's not just this little piece, it's a bunch of little things spread out throughout the whole body. And then you scroll down and we get total body water. And so total body water, it has to do with what our scan looks like on that day. So our total body water is going to fluctuate as you go day to day, right? Based on what you ate, how much you drank, how much salt you had, your workouts, anything like that. The reason we have, or that's on the app, is so we can make sure you're comparing your body in the similar state. So if one day you came in and you had one total body water, and the next one we came and you had way less body water, well, it's kind of like trying to compare your body when it's a big steak, right? Juicy steak versus beef jerky, right? If we take all that water out, your body's going to look a lot different. Typically, it shows up where we see the muscle looks way less just because we don't have the water to pump it up. Okay, so it's not something you have to go and track every single time. It's not like we look at that to standardize and make sure that this scan can be compared to this scan. Okay? Any questions on all that?
How does the water, or does the water part of it impact the visceral fat, or is there a correlation there?
So it will make our fat look more when we have less muscle, right? It's the shifting of the water in different compartments of our body. And so it'll oftentimes, when someone's really dehydrated or just in a different state there, the muscle will look smaller and the fat will look bigger, because the machine's all using electrical conductance to measure all that.
So then it would be inaccurate.
Yeah, it would just not be comparable to the previous one.
Yeah, we really just use that to enforce quality, right? We don't, for example, when we first started doing this protocol with folks, one of the things that we see happen is people eat a lot less carbohydrates, right? And so when that happens, carbohydrates and water, they bind together inside the body. And so their scans on an immediate basis, within 1 week of reducing carbohydrate intake, their scans look like they lost 5 pounds of muscle mass. But that's impossible. You don't lose 5 pounds of muscle mass unless you have 110-degree fever and you're in a hospital, and right? That's dramatic. But what does happen is those juicy steak muscles that you have, they will become less hydrated because there's not as many carbohydrates floating around in the body. The body will stabilize, but that's one of the first things we see when carbohydrates go down is there's less water, right? And so we look at that and we just go, oh, well, you've got 2 less liters of water in your body. We can't compare this scan to last scan. And then a week goes by and it stabilizes and we go, okay, now we can start to compare. And we can really start to see the numbers change accurately or compared to each other.
So it won't matter how much water you drink, it'll still.
No,
Right.
There's so many factors. Like, have you ever had a really salty meal, like Chinese food? That's the famous one, right? And the next day you wake up and you're like,
Yeah.
right? That's the salt pulling the water outside of the cells of your body, and it's just sitting in the body, not being processed. And so if you come in on a day like that, you would think, oh, I'm super hydrated, but actually you have all this water sitting outside the cells, not in the cells. And so we'll be able to see that on your scan, and I'll be like, what'd you eat yesterday? You're like, pizza, nacho cheese. Yeah, nacho cheese on a hot dog. Yeah. So that's just the water, and your electrolytes have a lot to do with that. Your salt, potassium, and magnesium. How much you drink, if you decide not to drink water for a week, it'll show up, right? But there's more than just that as a factor. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anytime you're looking at the scan, you're like, this doesn't make sense. Scroll on down to total body water
Yeah.
and see the shift, right? But your body is generally very good. It's got all the systems in place to make sure we're balancing out that water as we go. Cool.
Okay, so here we go. We're going to talk to you about what the quick cut is, because this is new for you guys, right? And this is really cool. We love doing it this way, where you guys are all doing this for the first time. And so please feel free to ask questions. Probably the person next to you has the same exact questions, okay? So the purpose of the quick cut is to get fat off of you, period. That is the purpose. That's why it exists, is to get fat off your body. So if that's not your goal, this is not your program, because that is the entire purpose. But we wanted to be able to do that while not jeopardizing your health, okay? And we also wanted to do it in a way that you could do it for the rest of your life, so that once you're done getting fat off of you, it doesn't just come back, okay? So those are the 3 things we really wanted to achieve with the program. And so Josh and I have been working on this for a few years now, trying out different things, taking what we could learn from different nutrition plans, different nutrition challenges, to find a program that people could do for a long time. We started out with a pilot group about 2 years ago here at the gym, 8 athletes. We only took 8, I think. And we took them through, and the results were spectacular. We only did 4 weeks.
Yeah.
4 weeks. They lost an average of 2 pounds of fat a week. So 8 pounds in 4 weeks of fat without any muscle loss. Everyone kept their muscle or built their muscle, which was like, wow, if we could replicate that. And we did. So we've taken now, I don't know, 200, 300 people through with just awesome results, and they're able to keep doing it. So even after they finish going, we have a support group, which you were here for at 8 o'clock, where we continue your education. We have check-ins every Saturday where we look at your scans with you indefinitely. As long as you want to be in the quick cut, we're here for you, right? And so we're seeing that people can do this for a really long time. So far, we've never had somebody say, I just can't handle it anymore, because it's very sustainable. Cool. So that's the purpose. The way we're going to do this is we are going to put you into a box. The box is going to be very clearly defined. And inside that box, there's going to be certain things you eat and certain things you don't eat. And when we're in the box, the idea is, and throughout this program, you're going to try and stay inside the box, okay? Life is going to come at you. Holidays are going to come at you. You guys are being very brave right now. October, in the beginning of October, getting after this, right? So you're going to have so many things that are going to try and pull you out of the box. But we want that to happen. We don't want you to avoid the things that are going to try and pull you out, because that's where we develop your personalized strategies for doing this long term. Does that make sense? Sometimes when we talk to folks about like starting this plan, they go, well, let me wait until my birthday's over, Thanksgiving's over, my vacation's over, and everyone dies in my whole life, right? It's like, okay, cool. Never, right? But we want you to learn how to manage life and maintain your strategies towards your goals. These are strategies towards goals. but you have to build them inside your own life. Does that make sense? Because everybody has their own problems. My problem is a 10-year-old, right? Everybody has their own situations they run into. Some of you, it's, coworkers who bring in boxes of donuts. They're your problem, right? Everybody has their own situations, and the only way to overcome those is you have to overcome them. Keeping yourself in a box while all of those things come in and try to pull you out, you're going to start to problem solve. Cool? And we're going to be here to support you while you build that. That's the whole point in this, right? Is having that support, having that coach to kind of coach you through it. And then at the end of it, you should come out of this thing with your own personal strategies for achieving your goals for the rest of your life. Make sense? Awesome. So that's a huge part. We want you to run into the problems. So when you go, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Perfect. We want that. We want that to happen, because getting over that hump is what gives us your long-term plan. Cool? And then the other part of this is, the truth of the matter is, once you learn how to do this, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be 100% inside your box. Okay? Once you learn how to overcome those things that try and pull you out all the time, and oops, I forgot to go shopping, and oops, I didn't plan dinner, and once you overcome all of that, the truth is that life can happen. You can have a birthday and eat cake and ice cream, and then you're just right back into your box. You can go to Disneyland and eat churros at every stand, and then you can go right back into your box when you get home. And it doesn't affect you working towards your goals or maintaining your goals. It doesn't. But what we found is that when we taught 80% on, 20% off, we planned our 20%, right? Like you're going through the grocery store and you're like, Oreos, 20%. No? Just me? Okay. And then you're like, strawberry shortcake, 20%, right? 80% vegetables, 20% sugar, right? When you plan your 20%, then what happens is you have that 20%, but then life happens. And now, next thing you know, you're at 40% off plan, right? And off goals instead of 20% off goals, because life is always going to happen. You guys know that, right? You're like, I wasn't planning to go out to lunch with my coworkers, but here we are, right? At a burger joint. So what we do is we teach you how to be 100%. Every time you're planning a meal, it's planned to be inside your box, right? And then what happens is life happens, and that ends up being your 20%, where you can go to parties and eat cookies at the cookie exchange, right? Like that's okay, because the rest of the time you are inside your box 100%. Okay? Josh and I live this really well. And I know you guys probably look at us and you're like, yeah, but that's you, right? This is your life. But we've also coached other people to live this really well. And they've completely changed their bodies because of it, and maintained healthy bodies because of it. And we still eat cake, right? There are some things that we absolutely don't eat because it'll make us, visit the bathroom way too often, or, but really, we do go outside the box. Don't think that we live inside a box. We don't. Okay. There are certain things we absolutely don't do. Like we don't drink any alcohol because of the effects on our bodies. We don't eat sugar on a regular basis, special occasions, but we live the 80-20 pretty well. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Just watch your step going down right there. You see the step in the middle? Yeah. Cool. So that's the goals. Sound good? Everyone feel like that aligns to what you're looking for? Okay, cool.
Speaking of sugar. So I'm going to give you guys this here.
Oh, here, I'll do that.
Prep sheet. So this week, as far as getting into things, and the purpose of this week is to get you prepped to actually start the quick cut, right? And start actually going into that 100% and seeing what that feels like and everything. So one of the main parts, let me see, 1, 2, is sugar, right? People have an issue with sugar, right? Certainly most of us do, right? Raise our hands, yeah. Sugar is good as far as how we taste in it, but that's part of the challenge in there, right? We know it tastes good, it's addicting, we get cravings for sugar, but it's really easy to overeat, right? And it's certainly not helping us towards our health goals. And so we can see here, we've got, you want to talk about the fitness in 100 words?
Yeah, but first we talk about this really embarrassing
Yeah.
picture.
Oh, this is
That's
not
Josh eating a
embarrassing.
s'more
I am eating a s'more, yeah.
in my backyard.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's a thing.
Yeah.
I was being honest with you guys.
Yeah.
We're real
There
people.
it is.
So fitness in 100 words. So what this is do you guys know what CrossFit is? I know we've talked a little bit about it. So CrossFit's a really cool exercise program because it gives you all the pieces, all the component parts of fitness, and it lays it out into an exercise program. But the thing about it that's really cool is it's produced the fittest humans on earth. That's tested every year. And it just produces these humans that are so healthy and so fit. Okay. That's what CrossFit is known for. And so the founder of CrossFit, who came up with the method, he isolated what the most successful actions were for people getting that healthy and that fit. And so he laid out fitness in 100 words. And so that's what this poster is here. But what I want to point out about this is that he starts with the word eat. You might think fitness in 100 words starts with push-ups, but it doesn't. It starts with eating. That's number one. So the first sentence here is what our program is based on. Okay. It's eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and no sugar. Okay. So the no sugar is a really important part. And so we need to start reducing your sugar intake. Remember how I talked about that dramatic drop in water when you suddenly reduce sugar? That doesn't feel very good. Like has anyone ever done keto? I know you have. Anyone ever done carnivore? Anyone ever just gone sugar-free, carb-free for a week or two? Or yeah, it feels, when you go from like 100 to 200, probably more like 200, 300 grams of carbohydrates in your day. That's a pretty normal American diet, to like 50 or 100. Your body, woof, it does not feel good. Your body's like, what are you doing? So the purpose of this is to gradually bring you into a lower carbohydrate intake, and to avoid some of that shock of feeling like, and freaking sugar is addictive, man. I love sugar. It took me over 1.5 years to get sugar out of my coffee, right? I loved my sweet coffee, and I'd have that craving. It wasn't about the caffeine. It was about the sugar. But the only way it worked for me was gradually. It had to be gradual. Otherwise it was just like, no, give it to me. Right.
Yeah.
So
oh yeah, go for it.
So the eat meat, what if you're leaning toward plant-based, because I would say 80% vegan.
Mhm.
We eat a lot of tofu, and we'll do some salmon and some shellfish.
Yes.
What have you, but,
Special's vegetarian as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thing about the meat thing, right? This is the successful actions of the most fit. So you're going to be at a disadvantage in terms of getting enough protein. But week 2, so when we meet next week, we're going to focus on protein and how to get that no matter what your diet looks like. So this is going to be your box, and you're going to learn how to eat inside that box. And that's your life, right? Your choices, what you like, what you don't like. And all of that is about building that custom box for yourself. Does that make sense? So totally workable. Next week is all about protein. And so we'll cover that, and we'll be figuring that one out.
So it sounds like the box is adaptable per person. Right?
Totally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One framework and everyone
Nope.
has to squeeze in.
We're building your frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Exactly.
We're giving you the boundaries, and then you're building what that looks like inside. Yeah.
So yeah, sugar, right? We know it's addicting. We know there's cravings. It's like when you want that snack food, a lot of people, that's what we're grabbing for, right? And one thing we found in our first groups is that we threw them straight into the box, right? And they said, oh my gosh, I have so many cravings. And we realized we need to do something to prep people for it. Because if we go from, everything to nothing, it's a lot harder, a lot more cravings, a lot more coming off plan, all of those things. So that's what this part of the sugar prep week is. So for one day, and you can read it there along with me, you're going to track how many items you consume with added sugars or 0-calorie sweeteners. And then you're going to take, if you're having more than 5 items a day, you're going to cut that down to 3 per day. And if you're already at 4 or fewer, you're going to cut it down to 1 or 2 a day. So that's to take our ultra sweet, ultra processed, sugary things and start to ease you off of them so that you have a lot easier when we actually go into that. And it makes the cravings easier, and we can resist those a little bit better.
On that, one thing that you may or may not be aware of are the added sugars. So your dressings, your barbecue sauce, your ketchup, right? All most likely have added sugar unless you've been watching this before. So you're going to need to start flipping boxes and bottles. Flip them over, read. If there's anything in there that was added to make it sweet, you haven't added sugar on your hands. So when you're taking stock of how many times a day do I eat added sugar, you're going to have to pay attention. Now, even the things that are 0-calorie sweeteners are added sugars. We still count that in the added sugar category. So a Diet Coke, you're like, no sugar, let's go. No, if it's sweet, it has something added to it that we are putting in the sugar category, even if it's a 0-calorie sweetener. Electrolyte mixes, diet sodas, diet drinks, all of those count on your tally of added sugars. So every time you put something in your mouth that's sweet, that's not a piece of fruit, you're having an added sugar. Does that make sense? Cool. Even honey is added to food, typically, unless you're with your honey bear, right? Honey is sugar. Maple syrup, sugar, added sugar. Okay, you're adding it to the pancakes, right? So everything that you take in, I'm going to say it again, that tastes sweet, whether it says 0 calories or no sweeteners added, baloney pants, okay? The things that wouldn't be added sugars is like, oh, good, we'll move it over here. It's okay, no worries. Good catch, Beverly.
Yes, very good catch.
Yeah, I should do a little bite for that.
Yeah.
That was a child. So does that make sense with the added sugars? They're sneaky. They're very sneaky. Just know this, if it's sweet and it's not a piece of fruit, sugar has been added. Okay?
I'm sorry, is there a limit on fruit?
Nope. We're just looking at added sugar.
Added, okay.
Yep. So eat fruit. We'll go over that one. That's week 3. Yeah. Right now we're just worried about the stuff that you add sugar to.
Well, I mean, I could hold it for you.
Can you tuck it in over there where you can't see it?
Yeah, we can try that.
Behind the cubby. Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Questions on the added sugars? No? Okay, good. The next thing we are going to talk about is alcohol. I'll do this one, Josh.
Okay.
So alcohol is going to be outside the box. Okay, alcohol has some crazy effects on the body. And when it comes to getting rid of visceral fat, it is vital that we reduce the alcohol and eliminate the alcohol if possible. Alcohol and visceral fat are best friends. And so you could do all the things in the world, exercise your little heart out, eat beautifully, but if you're drinking alcohol, even to the smallest amount, it's going to be really difficult to get that visceral fat off of you because they love each other. Okay. No nutrient content. You're not getting anything good out of it. 0. Empty calories. That just means it's just providing you with energy without anything else. No other nutrients. Kind of saying the same thing there. Low satiety, right? It doesn't, you're getting all these calories, but you're still hungry, right? Satiety is not feeling hungry. So it's like, you might as well just inject calories into your body, right? It is stressful for the body. Alcohol is a toxin. It is something the body has to get rid of, right? It has to process it like a poison. Just like if you went out and drank gasoline, right? Your body would have to process that out. It would make you sick. It would be really stressful for the body to drink gasoline, agreed? Alcohol is no different. It is a stressor to the body. So it increases our stress hormones, hence the best friend with visceral fat. It leads to poor food choices. It leads to poor choices of all things, right? But you lose some of that, like that judgment about like, oh, this is towards my goals and this is away from my goals, right? So you lose some of that when you're under the influence of alcohol. And then, like I said, best friends with that visceral fat. Okay.
How does the stress hormone affect visceral fat? What's the connection there?
So, I mean, with any stressor, right, we can go back to our cortisol. So cortisol is our stress hormone. So let's say we sleep poorly, or let's say we are being chased by an animal, right? Cortisol jumps up. And that's, our body goes into this, like, I'm going to store because I need this energy for later, right? And so it's storing that visceral fat and hanging on to it.
So
Ultimately,
does
so-
alcohol manipulate the body to storing
Right.
visceral fat?
Exactly.
It's the
So
cortisol.
it's the
It
cortisol.
raises your cortisol levels for a while it processes it out.
Which impacts the visceral fat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy on a practical level.
Yeah.
Like when we work with athletes all the time and we get to track and see how their visceral fat is moving or not moving. It's amazing to see athletes do all the right things. They're doing all the things. They're working out 5 to 6 days a week with us. So they've got this amazing program. Their programming is on point. They're eating within the box, which you guys are going to learn about next week. They're doing all the things, but they're drinking 1 glass of wine every other day, or 1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers on the weekends. Not even that much, right? We consider that pretty normal in America, and their numbers won't budge. And then we go, just give it 3 weeks without alcohol. Just try it.
Right.
And then, boom, their numbers go down. It's like the body goes, oh, okay, we're doing this, right? So it makes a huge difference. It really, really does. The other thing is your training gets better.
Mhm.
If you're drinking alcohol, you're training, you're not going to get as much out of it because the body's under that load of stress. And so we're just not going to get as much out of you when you're working out. So there's that too. So it minimizes the effectiveness of your training.
We also, our liver, right? Like when we drink alcohol, it's going to process the alcohol. So we're eating food and we're drinking alcohol. It's going to let the food just hang out and start to have processes in our body, but it's got to process the alcohol first. So it's kind of like, hey, I'm going to tax the liver this way, and then I'm going to throw something else at it. So it gets worse at all of its processes.
Prioritizes alcohol.
It has
Exactly.
to, or you
Yeah.
die.
Right,
Yeah.
because otherwise
You
we have an
just
issue.
you just put a poison in your body, so it has to deal with the alcohol.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Otherwise, you're going to die because it has to get the alcohol out of your blood.
That's amazing science. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of shocking. I mean, the body's protecting us
Yeah.
by processing it, but it then leads to bigger issues.
Any other question? We could probably talk about alcohol all day.
Right.
We do have a drugs and alcohol talk coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks from today. Yeah. So the cool thing about the Quick Cut that what we've changed about it is instead of trying to like squeeze everything in like 4 weeks or 7 weeks or 8 weeks, it's ongoing. And so we take little topics like alcohol and marijuana and right, all these like other medications, and we can just talk about that for a whole 30-minute talk. Right? Like today, you guys made it to the 8 o'clock. That was about different diets out there. So you could understand what all your options are. And what it does is it helps reinforce what you are building for yourself. Right? And so you can make your choices. And you don't get distracted by that guy on Instagram who's like, you should just eat meat for the rest of your life. Right? Because then you know what he's talking about, why it would work for a while, maybe why it wouldn't be sustainable for you. That kind of thing. Okay, so step 3. I think this is the easiest of them all.
Go shopping.
Yeah. Well, start with cleaning out your pantry. So if you're like me, you can't have sugar in your house. Like if there's Oreos on my counter, I'm going to eat them for sure. Even if they're hidden in the back on the top shelf, I'll just grab a ladder, right? If it's there, I'm eating it. I love me some sugar. I love cookies. I love cake. I got her attention. Right? If it's in my house, I'm gonna eat it. You got to get it out. Don't make this harder on yourself than it needs to be. Okay? So you're gonna have to deal with the people you live with, right? Because they might be their Oreos that are stuffed behind the rice in the pantry, right? But you know it's there. Get rid of it, right? Make sense? Yeah. So this is part of your prep week, is getting the stuff out of your house that you know is a struggle for you. Okay? And then we have plan ahead for success. So you guys know for the first 4 weeks of the Quick Cut, you are in what's called the on-ramp. Okay? You're not on the highway yet. Okay? Everyone who's on the highway, who's done the Quick Cut with us over the years, they're coming here at 7:30 in the morning on Saturdays. They're doing check-ins with us, which is just like us looking at their scans. And then they're doing the briefings where we get one little topic and we get to go deep dive that are from 8 to 8:30 a.m. Okay, that's the highway. You guys are welcome to come to those. Just realize there's a workout in between the highway ride and the on-ramp ride, right? So the on-ramp ride happens at 9:45 every Saturday for 4 weeks. Does that make sense? So this is your first one. Cool? The final on-ramp lecture is called Fitness 101, and that's more about exercise and less about food. We talk a little bit about it, but just to help you match your exercise with the effort on your food. Cool. So like you've done Fitness 101 already. You've done fitness. You don't need to come to that one. Okay. So we want you to mark your calendars. This is part of your prep week. We want you to be here if you can be here. I don't know about you, but watching a video on our app is not as great as this, right? Where you get to ask your questions about alcohol and look at me with a face like, are you sure? Right? Like that helps because then we can explain more, right? So if you can be here, please be here. If you're going to miss a Saturday, it's okay. We can deliver the video to you through our app, okay? We have an app called SugarWOD, and so we can definitely deliver it to you that way. And that's another way to do this long term, especially through the holidays, right? Is, well, you can get the lectures each week and do the check-ins with us maybe over the phone or whatever you need to support you. We have a coach who does over the phone check-ins for the Quick Cut. So if you ever can't make it in, we can set you up with that. Make sense? Yes, we want you scanning every week. Okay, now here's the other thing. The scans, this was a common confusion. They're not included in the Quick Cut, okay? Your first scan with us is always free, but because we have athletes who do this remotely and never come in for a scan here, they're going other places, we don't include it as part of the price, okay? So your scans are $10 a scan, or you can go on a scan plan. I recommend that during the Quick Cut because it's $15 and you scan as much as you want. Makes sense? If you ever move to Canada and you're on the Quick Cut in Canada, you'll need to find an InBody scanner there, right? And so we keep the price of the Quick Cut really low so that you guys can scan wherever you need to. If you're scanning with us, great, but it's separate. Cool?
Where else would you scan?
So InBody scanners exist in doctor's offices, vitamin shops, right? We just happen to have one. Well, we don't happen to. I bought it. We're still paying for it, to be honest. So that's how the scans work, okay? Your first one's always free, so, you know, you've got your first scan. Cool. Tracking with the plans?
We do use those scans. Like, you will want them.
You'll want
need
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they will show you what you're doing is
Yeah,
working
you're on
or
a
not.
scan plan.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, and then part of the Quick Cut is getting sleep. We have a whole talk on sleep, which will not be part of your on-ramp. It's part of our education that helps support your progress. But it's going to be vital. When we took our groups through it in the beginning, that was, you got to do 5 to 6 workouts a week, whether they're in a gym or not, 5 to 6 a week. And then you got to get 8 hours of sleep. How many of you get 8 hours of sleep every night? I know Beverly's not going to raise her hand. She has 4 kids. There's no way, Jose, right? No? Nobody, right? How many of you get 7? Okay, close. 6? 5? Okay. Yeah, you got kiddos. So the kid problem, I don't know the answer. Yeah, you'll get sleep later, Beverly. Get sleep later. But for the rest of us who don't have littles waking us up and keeping us up, if you guys need 8 hours of sleep, which I'm telling you right now, you need 8 hours of sleep, especially when you start working out. That's when the body recovers. We'll talk more. Just trust us for now when we say you need 8 hours of sleep, okay? But if you shoot for 8 hours in bed, you will not get 8 hours of sleep. If your bed window, I'm in bed for 8 hours, you will not get 8 hours of sleep because all of you take a little while to fall asleep and all of you have pee breaks in the middle of the night and whatever, the cat, the dog, interrupting you. You need to shoot for 9 hours in bed to get 8 hours of sleep. So this is why it's a plan ahead for success. You guys are going to have to find that in your lives. If you want to have steady weight loss and keep the fat off, you are going to have to find sleep. There is no cheat code on sleep. There really isn't. Caffeine won't do it. Nothing else will do it. Does that make sense? Okay. And we will, in the sleep lecture, we will go into details as to why that is. But the Elite Fitness, it's not in there, but I'll tell you, he gets 8 hours of sleep. I get 8 hours of sleep. The athletes who keep the fat off their bodies, they get 8 hours of sleep or more. Okay? It's one of those best kept secrets. It's not a secret. Just people think, oh, I don't need that much. It's not true. Your body's adapted to not getting that much, but not in terms of getting body fat off and keeping it off. Make sense? Okay. My lecture on sleep is over.
Yeah. So this week, this is your homework, right? That checklist spelled it out. We want you to go through each of those steps, right? Steps 1 through 4, because that's what's going to get you ready for next week to actually start this whole thing, right? And so we got the sugar, the alcohol, cleaning up the kitchen, and planning ahead. Okay, and the planning ahead includes movement and sleep.
Mhm.
So.
And then on Saturday, we will brief you on what the box is, what's out, what's in, and we're going to focus on protein as our first thing to get really good at. Cool? Any questions? Same time. Yeah, so if you can get here at 9:30, do your scan. You just put your phone number in, right? Start looking at your numbers, start getting to know your numbers. And then 9:45 is when we try to start the talk. Cool?
Do we pay ahead for the scan or can we pay here?
So if you're paying scan by scan, you'll just put your name on the clipboard that's right there, and then it gets run about once a week. But I recommend you go on a scan plan if you're coming every week. And you can also sign up for that right now on that clipboard. You can say, put me on a scan plan. And so our admin will do that. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Absolutely. You should scan before the workout because there's so much variability in the workouts and what it does to your water that it's too much variation. Yeah. Yep. Cool. You guys feel like you're ready? It's just prep week.
Right. Nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like my children, I don't know if they're like, they'll go like and just pile of sugar.
You're gonna have a lot to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Your oldest is how old? Oh, that's hard.
Well, and then 10.
Yeah.
And so like the older kids can just go, well, which isn't as much of like I won't eat their stuff. They'll just take like $5 or $10 and go to the local grocery store and buy Reese's and all this stuff. And like I don't usually eat their stuff, but like that's part of the.
It's really hard. I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old as well. My 10-year-old's my biggest problem. And the best we can do is educate, right? And we're going to provide you with education and you can then educate them. My 13-year-old responds really well to education. He's like, I don't know, he just gets it, right? He grew up with blood sugar lectures and nutrition talks and, but so did my daughter, right? And they're completely different. Every opportunity she has to put sugar in her mouth, she's there, right? Yep. My son, he's like, that has a lot of sugar in it. I'll pass. 13, right? So educate. I mean, that's, I think, our best chance. And this is coming from someone who has the same problem. Yeah. And then just yell at them. No, don't do that. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Next question, when I want sugar, what should I have instead?
Lots of fruit. So, okay, here's the thing, right? And we're going to get deeper into this once we like step into the box. Don't worry, you're not in the box yet.
You're going to have sugar right now.
But I feel like I'm in the box.
Okay, so Beverly, eat your chocolate this week. Just make sure we're starting to reduce the amounts.
Yeah.
Cool.
Stick with what we have, right?
Yeah, like, it's got to be gradual. But I will tell you this, like, once you get the added sugars out of your mouth, your taste buds will adjust and fruit will never taste better. If you're taking in a diet soda or a sweet chocolate or whatever it is, those added sugars are a lot sweeter than naturally occurring sweet foods. And so your taste buds go, oh, this is what sweet is, and a strawberry tastes like water. Okay? When you get that out of the picture, all of a sudden strawberries are really sweet because you're not comparing it to diet soda, you're comparing it to a steak or broccoli, which isn't sweet at all. Right? So that adjustment needs to happen, and then fruit will be satisfying. It will come. I love sugar. I'll tell you, it's. Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you.
Drinking black coffee, like is it okay for me to keep putting maple syrup in my coffee, or should I like?
Right now it
This
is. Right now, this is going to be really good homework for you.
Mhm.
Step 1, Beverly, is track how many items you consume with added sugar. We need to see where you're starting from. Then you're going to gradually start picking, right? Okay, I do 10 added sugars a day. Cool. Let's try 5, and you're going to have to start making choices. Do I want maple syrup in my coffee, or do I want a piece of chocolate? Right? And so you'll start to make choices about it. Does that make sense? But really, like we've gone through this program with hundreds of people now, and without this step, it's too overwhelming. You're already in the overwhelm, but you skip this step. We got to do this step first. It's got to be gradual because it is a real thing. It's very addictive. I know.
Mhm.
I was a pumpkin spice latte girl. Lots of pumps of sugar in my coffee, right? So I know.
We will
It's-
also next week talk about some strategies to still get that sweet
Yeah.
fix, right? That is on plan and
Yeah.
within the quick cut.
Yeah, and we're here for you,
Right.
and we can grieve together.
Yep. We got
Yeah.
all this support.
Yeah. It's
I'm not even the worst one in the family. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard, and you're going against the grain. Okay, the grain is Reese's, diet sodas, regular soda, like that's the grain, right? But that's also why our world is getting very sick very fast. You are going against the grain. This isn't going to be easy, right? But it will be worth it. And if it rubs off on your family, you're going to have a healthier family because of it. Going against the grain is always hard, but we are going against the grain for the sake of our health. Cool? So yes, it's going to be hard. This is not going to be easy, but the cool thing about this program is we're here for you through it. You're not doing it by yourself. Okay? Even though you're alone in your home, I'll come visit. I'll clean out your pantry. I offer that service. I've done it. I've gone to people's houses and helped them clean out their pantries. Yeah, it's real. Okay, guys, anything else? Are you considering having me over? Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's some baking. you
Oh,
can
we're
do.
going to teach you how to
Yeah.
bake. We're going to teach you how to cook.
I bake
Yeah.
regularly.
We make some great
Yeah.
stuff. I made on-plan brownies. I make on-plan lemon bars that are to die for. Yeah, there's lots of
Muffins.
ways to use the foods that are inside your box to make some amazing treats. Yeah, we will teach you.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be misery.
Will you teach us like before Christmas?
Well, we just did that talk.
Time frame with that.
Okay, so check it out. So those of you who aren't on our gym app yet, if you stick around, I'll get that onto your phone. We'll get you logged in, and you can go back. Was it 4 weeks ago? And you'll have
Yeah.
access to that video because we just did that talk. So you guys actually are going to have access to everything that's been done before. So if you want to do that, stick around, and I'll get you guys in the app. For those of you who are in the app, you go to where it says workout of the day, and you go switch, and you go to quick cut. Although I don't think you guys can see it yet. I'll have to give you access today. Okay?
Is it Pace Fitness app?
No,
Oh.
no, it's a
It's
different app.
different,
Believe it or not, it's called Sugar WOD, workout of the day. Yeah? Cool. All right, guys.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Yeah. We'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Next week.
Prepped.
Yeah.
You're going to be prepped. And then we're going in the box.